Hey folks, Inclusive Mall Designs here, and I have something very special for you today. This is going to be an inbox review of the Gunze, I believe it's pronounced Gunze, 1350 scale RMS Lusitania model kit. Now this is a beautiful model. If you can get your hands on one of these, I recommend it. Now I do have an older kit from Mr. Hobby, I believe. That's why I have the older instruction booklet there. But I don't have the lid for the box anymore. It did have the old Entex logo on it, but obviously it wasn't the Entex one. They just kind of copied the old lid. But the two kits, as far as the Gunze and Mr. Hobby one goes, are identical. It had both the two-piece white hulls, and all the other pieces are identical in every way. So if you have happen to see the Gunze or the Mr. Hobby kits, the two kits are identical. I can't speak for the Entex kits though, if you get the original Entex kits. But as far as the Gunze ones, I'm going to say Gunze. I know I probably pronounce it wrong. If you get your hands on one of these, as long as it's new or says new, for sure get one. These ones are getting harder and harder to find every day now, because they just don't make them anymore. But what a beautiful model this will be when it's completed. There will be an aftermarket special on this one because there are a few things you can get to make this model even more beautiful, and we'll get into that once I get the aftermarket special up. But in the meantime, let's have a look and see what you get inside the box here. Now I will put this instruction booklet away because there's no need to have that out. So no particular order. We'll just start with some of the decking. Now these can be very brittle. These are just some of the the ladders and stuff, or like the stairs, especially right here. I mean, you got to be careful, especially when you're opening the packaging. Some of these may break off. No, there's none there, but so just when you're taking them out of the bags, because they come in like just normal bags, be careful. These could be mistaken for just like extra like flash or whatever. Be sure that you don't just chuck those and mistake them for something else, because those can bend fairly easy and break. But the detailing is fairly crisp on these. Now obviously this is obviously for wood, right, to simulate wood. And when we start the build, I have some great ideas to do the wood decking that we'll get into. Now they don't make a laser set for like they do for like Titanic and the battleships and stuff. I wish they would come out with a set for this. They don't, just because there's not many of these kits out. Maybe that's the reasoning behind it. But that would be great if they did, because there are still a bunch of these kits out there. They're just, maybe not enough for them to do it. Maybe that's the reasoning behind it. I don't know. But again, if you can get your hands on one of these, just wow. I mean, it's such a pretty ship. So I'm going to do this one-handed. Sorry for if it's going to be shaky. There's obviously the bow section. Very nice detail. Reach at the stern. This is obviously for the stand, and then you get the anchors and then the props. And of course, back there is the stand, right? And those pieces there will fit onto there, the stand. And then you could have the gold plaque. That's fairly nice. There's some of for the windows for the skylights. I mean, that's kind of cool. This is for the stand as well. Obviously those fit on top of the gold pieces that you just seen, the stand. So a little bit of masking to be done there, but that won't be too hard. See, a piece like this, I mean, if you weren't into doing like that wood decking that we usually do, it would be very simple, right, to be painted. Because then obviously you'd just be putting up the walls around, right? But we'll be doing the wood decking, and I got a few ideas that we can be trying. But we'll get into that as the build goes. I don't know when exactly I'll be starting the build for this, but I think a review is definitely necessary because there's not too much out there of the ship itself, right? See, there's some of the ladders and obviously the davits for the lifeboats and such. Very clean looking parts, especially for a model that's been out for quite a number of years. And I'm sure some of the PE sets that are out there as far as railings and such for like Titanic and stuff will definitely fit on for this model. So if you have like PE sets for Titanic and stuff, I mean, I'd go ahead and use them for this kind of model. There's some more here. Obviously these pieces right here will be go right back there. That's what we're looking at. So, I mean, railings like right there. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. So you could leave those on, or we could be cutting those right out and then putting PE sets in its place. So obviously that's going to be really time consuming, which is, you know, obviously it's a model kit, right? So we'd be cutting those completely off and then putting PE sets in, and that would look really nice. That's what I mean. For a model of this, you know, it would take a long time to build if you're going to build it right. And they're like staircases like that. If you wanted to rip those out, put PE sets in. But I mean, look at the intricate work they've even done here. I mean, that's really pretty. This piece is overlapping a bit, and see if I can get this off. There we go. There we go. That makes a little more sense. So, I mean, this piece here, what we're looking at is right here, that whole section. I don't know, I just think it's really pretty. I think this is a really pretty ship. It's too bad a lot of these, you know, sunk. I mean, I suppose they would have been, you know, to the scrapyard, or probably would have sank in the war anyway, but still. You even got them pre-drilled so you can do the lines. Yeah, that's even cool too. A lot of thought went into this model for when they constructed it or molded it. A chair squeaking in the background there. Again, hopefully this review helps. I mean, there's a lot of interest in this ship, and I understand that, you know, on eBay this model, you know, it pops up now and again. A lot of times this model will pop up and it's half built or something, or, you know, it's for parts, and sadly that's the case. And if it does come up for sale and it's like in brand new format, it's going to be costly. You know, I get it, but you know, how many times is it going to be ever up for sale in that condition, you know, in good condition? So it's what it's worth to you, right? It might even be worth it to buy it and then just sit on it as a collector item at this point, but I will build it. And because I do have two kits, one of them is one of my hulls, is a bit warped and wrecked. So, you know, sadly, one is going to be just for parts, but because I do have an intact kit, it allows me to build one, you know, massively detailed Lusitania model, and if I make a mistake, I'm going to be able to, you know, have some mulligans on this one. If needed. Hopefully I won't have any mulligans or mistakes. Alright, one more sprue and then we can get into the hull detail. And this one here is mostly railings and stuff, and this is what I mean by like the PE sets, right? I mean, I suppose you could use these if you're not into it and then just throw a wash in there. But I think a Titanic railing set will suit just fine. These here I do have PE sets for, and that's what the aftermarket special will be for. But if need be, these are a bit on the thick side, but I mean, I could even sand these down, you know, on one of the sides and get them, you know, thin, and then that'll work as well if need be. If I can't find a PE set that, you know, will get that the right size, I can sand those down if need be. But if not, you know, those will work just fine. You know, for a model of this cost and rarity, you know, sometimes a piece like that in its existence will work just fine. I'm not going to destroy a part or risk destroying a part, you know, just to try to make it look a little bit better when that is good enough, if that makes any sense. All right, so let's have a look here at the hull. Okay, well, they're upside down. But very nice. And this piece here will go, but that's just to protect that piece. And that piece here is just some flash or whatever, some of the molding that'll go, but those pieces will stay. Now I will be drilling out the portholes and then putting like a reflective backing behind them just to simulate like the porthole glass. Whether I like this or not, I don't know. But because the portholes are so crisp, I think even just having a reflective background on this will give it that that classy look. So as you can see, it's just really nice. It even stands up well and has that interlocking mechanism to it. Obviously, we still require glue, but let's look at the other side of the hull. Apologize for the shakiness. There's kind of no other way to film this in a way. I mean, because it is, you know, it's a decent size. Like, here's my hand, right? So it is still a decent sized ship. A little bit smaller than Titanic, because this was a little bit smaller, but pretty much just a carbon copy of the other side of the hull. As you can see, the water line right here is kind of pre-lined for you, I guess you can say. And as you can see here, the railing, there's the railing there, so that would have to be kind of cut off and then photo etched on, as well as the front. I do believe had the same kind of thing. Yeah. So if you were going to go for the photo etch sets, you'd have to cut that railing off. But again, that won't be too hard the way this model seems to be designed. So there we go. That's all there is. Oh, actually, one more part, I guess. There is your the decaling there. You got your Lusitania markings in there, and then obviously you got your flags, which are really nice. And then I do believe in here you have your string for your rigging, and then you have your anchor chain. So I don't want to open it up, but very nice. And then of course you got your instruction booklet. Kind of reads the same as like your Titanic instruction booklet, same kind of thing, but knowing me and the things we'll be doing to this ship, I probably won't follow the instruction booklet to the letter. But as we start the build, we'll get into it, right? But again, just to close, if you do happen to come across this model kit in some kind of sale or whatever, you know, if you find it for a decent price, you know, definitely pick it up. There's not too much to the model kit as far as in the box, as you can see in the review here, but keep this review with you. Again, if you come across the, you know, in, like I said, a garage sale or a flea market or something like that, you know, just keep this review with you and use it as a guide to see, you know, what might be in the box, and then, you know, decide from there whether you want to pick this model up. But wow, this is going to be such a pretty ship when it's done. And yeah, that's all I can say. I was really excited for this to come in the mail because, again, mine was kind of missing a few things here and there from my box because it was, you know, I've had it for so many years and it's just been kind of bounced around. And then when I seen this up for sale, I, you know, sent an offer and he accepted it, you know, thankfully, and, you know, happy to have a complete kit so I can eventually start this one. So thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll definitely look forward to your comments on this one and what you think of the Lusitania, because it seems like, you know, obviously Titanic gets a lot of the glory, which she should. I actually had a family member die on Titanic, so that ship's very near and dear to my heart. But, you know, Lusitania often gets mistaken for Titanic because she looks, you know, very much like Titanic, definitely from a distance. But, you know, this is definitely a conversational piece too once it's all built. So thanks so much for watching, and have a good one, guys.